Hello, everybody. How are you? I hope you're well. All right. So, what we're going to talk about today is where's the title? Men reveal the final straw that led to filing for divorce. Okay. Okay. First one. She said, "I can do better." You know me, right? Somebody tells me that we're done. There will be no coming back from that. And obviously, that was the final straw for him, too. And he said, "That's it. Well, you think somebody else is better. You go ahead and find them." And then once people have to realize, too, and I've said this before, that people who are in long term relationships have no idea what dating entails now. Okay. Dating is not dating, it's mating. People are a lot more interested in your genitals than you. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. They really don't care about you as a person. They want to know what they can get from you. We're just in a gimme, gimme, gimme society. So if you are in a relationship and you're thinking that the grass is going to be greener somewhere else, I'm here to tell you, chances are that is not true. I've been single ever since my divorce, which has been at least 10, 12, 13 years now. I don't freaking know, double digit years. And I've been single by choice. I cannot meet anybody who is mentally stable. I cannot meet anybody who has respect. I cannot meet anybody who their pecker doesn't rule their whole universe. I need to know how you are in bed. And that's the last thing you should be worried about. You need to, if you're trying to get a future with somebody, you need to focus on something that has a solid foundation. And laying somebody is not a solid foundation. And if you're too immature to have a relationship, then you shouldn't be looking for a relationship anyway. Go to a bar, wait till she's hot enough, and she'll start, she'll, whatever, start grinding your leg, and next thing you know, you're doing it. But for those who have been in a serious long term relationship slash marriage, whatever, dating is not what you think it is. It's horrible. It's horrible. You cannot meet people online. Everybody online is a liar. I've said that to you before, and I'll say it again. Everybody on there is a liar. Very few people are serious. Most of the people online are married or involved with somebody in a serious relationship, which is why they're never online. And in some sites, you can see how long it was, before somebody was active, like they've been offline for 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is, because they got somebody in real life. Okay? It's also a playground for narcissists. Let's just keep it real. I could hide behind my computer, my keyboard, whatever, my phone. I could hide behind it. And you don't know who I really am. So it's a playground for predators. I have said that for many, many years. The internet is a playground for predators. And people say, well, there's the same people you meet in a bar. Not necessarily. It's a lot harder to hide what you look like when you see somebody in a bar. Okay? You cannot see somebody face to face and change your face out to a 20-year previous picture. What you look like now is what the hell you look like. Online, you could be whoever and whatever you want to be. You could be 21 again, even though you're 39, and you still got that basketball body because you were on a basketball team. You could just be whatever. You could be a chameleon. And predators will change and become whatever you want them to become. So if you're in a long distance relationship, I strongly suggest you try to work it out. However, because dating sucks, it stinks. I could have had somebody, but the people that I saw were losers. And I'm not signing up for that. I don't like that you don't have a filter. I met one guy who does not have a filter. If he thinks what you said is something that sounds unbelievable, he will tell you that's bullshit. And what part of that attitude am I supposed to get excited about? Okay? Because you suck. I have zero tolerance for smokers. I have zero tolerance for people with no filter. I have zero tolerance for horn dogs. I have zero tolerance for liars, narcissists, and I could go on and on and on. Don't misrepresent yourself because I'm going to find out who you really are. I'm not stupid. Now, if you want a ditz, go find a ditz, but you're not going to be able to play games with me like you do with other people because I'm a smell game a mile away. And when I eventually see the mask slip, you're done. So I've been single for a long time, and I'm going to probably more than likely stay that way because I'm not going to tolerate bullshit. I'm just not. Life is too short. However, there comes a point in time in your marriage where you just can't do it no more. You're done. You're done. And this is where these men come in. So let me quit yapping and get to the point. Okay, she said she could do better. I could do so much better than you. This was because I couldn't afford to send her, a 10-year marriage, by the way, on a second trip to Bali within a couple years' time while working full-time and trying to get a side business off the ground. I built her up for years, and this was my repayment. Her freedom was not clearly as fruitful as she anticipated. Another reader chimed in, "You treat her like a queen, she'll treat you like a peasant." That's what narcissists do. Some of these women could very easily be narcissists. Okay, it's not a gender thing. I told you this before. She couldn't say good things about me. The final straw was marriage counseling. Listening to her talk about me, then she couldn't say 3 things that she liked about me. I was done at that moment. Stopped caring completely. That was number 2. Number 3, she yelled too much. Many relationships were volatile, and the excessive yelling and belittling would lead to regular emotional abuse. I hate women who yell. She would, A, tell me I don't have the right to silence her emotions, and she has the right to yell at me. B, follow me into different rooms, yelling at me to finish the argument. Then I would snap and say mean things and yell back, and then she would call me emotionally abusive for yelling and calling her mean things. So she could do it to him, but he can't do it to her. That also sounds narcissistic because when he flipped the script, she became the victim. I'm not saying she's a narc, but she's got narc tendencies. Okay? People that are mature adults do not go, "Oh, you're yelling at me. You're terrible." They take responsibility for their actions. They may yell back, and then later on they'll say when they're calm, "I'm sorry I yelled at you, but, I lost it because you triggered me when you said this or that." Or try not to scream at each other in the first place, which I'm sure is easier said than done because people closest to you make you want to choke the life out of them. Not literally, okay? Don't get ideas, people, but they make you want to hurt them, especially if they're mean and vindictive and hateful and sneaky and backstabbing. Makes you want to hurt them. So if she can't hurt you physically, she will hurt you by screaming in your ear. And this guy said, "I'm done with it. You can't think of 3 nice things to say about your husband? Not 3? Wow." Number 4, not carrying her load. When one person is supporting the couple or family financially while also completing the majority of the household responsibilities, it leads to resentment. She wouldn't work, she wouldn't clean, she wouldn't do basically anything to make the marriage easier. She'd use the excuse, "You knew this before we got married," like that somehow excused her. Let me tell y'all something, okay? So there was a point in time when you're affiliated with the Air Force like I was. My ex was in the active duty military. The military, it's hard to sustain a job because when you go for jobs, as the spouse, people find out that you're affiliated with the military, they don't want to hire you because they know you're eventually leaving. So there really is no point in us getting to know you and you giving you a chance here because you're going to jet anyway, which is true, but it's not going to happen when I first relocated to Missouri. Anyway, when I didn't work because I just got here, when he came home, the house was clean. We didn't keep a dirty house anyway. So the house was always clean. His dinner was either made or it was almost done, or it was in the oven in progress. Okay. There is absolutely no excuse in the world if you sit on your ass all day, and I'm gonna get ugly for a minute. When you sit on your ass all day, there is no reason in the world that you can't throw something in the oven. There's no reason in the world that you can't take a rag and wipe down furniture. There's no reason in the world that you can't push a vacuum cleaner. There's no excuse for that. He never came home to a dirty house, my husband, when I was married. He never came home to a dirty house. And his meal was in the works. You're watching soap operas all day. You can't get up off your butt and get it together. He's going to get to the point like these men. I'm done. Whoever doesn't work should be washing dishes, pushing a vacuum, and taking out the trash or whatever, because you ain't got a job. So that's your job until you could get a job. There's no excuse for that. You got to be. One of my neighbors teased me, and she came over, and my house has always looked decent. I mean, somebody could pop over my house right now, and my house is company ready. I'm not OCD, but my house is always company ready. And so I had my neighbor come over, who was a friend of mine at the time, and I said, "House is a little messy," and she said, "Your idea of messy is a cushion out of place." I am not that bad. I'm not. But like I said, if you sit on your behind all day, come on, there's no excuse. Get off your get off your tail. If you're not motivated, it's hard to get motivated. Turn some music on. That's what I do. Shake your butt while you're dusting the furniture. There's no excuse. Get up off your lazy behind. Anyway, so she's going to be getting a divorce instead. Anyway, she said that he couldn't provide. If women are looking for a sugar daddy, but they can't live up to the expectation, men eventually feel like they're being used. People don't like to be used, regardless of their gender. They hate it. She resented me because I couldn't send her on a holiday, ended up going on the holiday by taking out a huge loan. Oh my God. Oh my God. Drained our savings account while she was over there. Ended up leaving me when she came back for reasons she couldn't really articulate very well, but included things like not being able to provide. Okay, so let me explain. This is really disgusting behavior. I am so disgusted. First of all, you do not take out a loan for a vacation. You don't do that. You don't empty your savings account while you're on vacation. What the hell is wrong with you? I don't blame these men for getting a divorce. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. I'd help them find a good lawyer. What town are you in? Let me do some research. And let me check the reviews on these lawyers. I will help you. Because this is absolutely asinine. You're going to put yourself, your marriage, and your situation in a financial hole because you have a grandiosity about you and you have a entitlement. I'll spend every dime because I need it. I deserve it. Who are you, Queen Elizabeth? Look, like I said, I'd help him find a divorce lawyer. This is absolutely stupid. Okay. Number 6, by the way, that was number 5. She said I couldn't provide. Sense of entitlement. Number 6, she cheated. Oh, and let me say something else. When I went on vacation, I went out of the country three times and went on a couple of cruises. Back when I was married, we saved money to do this. We didn't deplete bank accounts. Okay. You don't take out loans for that. You put money aside for that. If you got to go to the movies every week, you cut back on going to the movies. You got to buy unnecessary things like tons of alcohol. You could cut back on buying alcohol and put that money aside for what you want to do. Unless the person feels entitled, then they feel like, well, I'm going to have everything I want and take out a loan. You got to sacrifice for what you want. Anyway, number 6, she cheated. That's a no-brainer. There were several stories about being cheated on repeatedly by ex-wives. My ex wanted me to send her on a cruise of the Greek islands. Pretty certain the guy she was cheating with at the time was going on that cruise, but he wasn't willing to pay for her. My wife cheating on me again. I should have kicked her out when I first discovered her treachery, but I naively took her back. Not so when I discovered it again a few years later. In reality, I'm sure the affair never ended after I first discovered it. That's number 6. Wow. Number 7. Y'all knew this was coming. Lack of intimacy. Dead bedroom, her ignoring me. When she finally admitted she no longer desired me, it also doesn't help if she decides she's a lesbian. Wow. She woke up from a decade-long period of being a low energy and started doing all of this new stuff. But none of it was focused on our kids, house, or me. It was all about finding herself. So I faced with the idea that me being patient and understanding while essentially carrying the responsibilities I was faced with, facing all the responsibilities for 2 people. It's not that she couldn't pull her weight. It's that she didn't want to, or rather she didn't want to be part of the life we had together. Plus she decided she was a lesbian. Number 8, abuse. That should be a no-brainer too, right? We're not surprised by that. Excuse me, guys. Okay, abuse. There were many stories of constant yelling and fighting, turning into emotional and physical abuse by the ex-wives. Her emotional abuse turned into physical abuse. She said that I made her hit me, and it was the only way to get me to see her point of view on what we were arguing about. We weren't even really fighting. It was about car insurance, and she gets up, walks over, and just smacks me across the face as hard as she can. She slapped the last bit of feeling I had for her out of me. There's absolutely no excuse for that. You don't kill somebody in their spirit. Because once you kill somebody in their spirit, which is the deepest part of themselves, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Better off without her. I asked the Dear Abby, number 8, I asked Dear Abby the question, would I be better off with or without her? I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Decided that without her in my life wouldn't be that different, except I'd have less laundry to do and no one would yell at me after work. Totally worth it. Number 10. Oh, wow. Number 10, therapy. I went to individualized therapy, and talking about my marriage out loud with someone made me realize how incredibly toxic it was. I went to my then wife and told her that things needed to change if we were to stay together. She straight up told me no. Honey, let me tell you something. I'd be in a lawyer's office so fast my head would be swiveling. Okay? It would be on a swivel. How dare you? That's all I'd need to know. No problem, sweetheart. Don't worry about it. We'll be serving you papers. She's bad with finances. Overspending and not contributing to the household finances can cause a major strain in a marriage. Had to withdraw $8,500 to pay taxes on mutual funds. I sold to cover monthly household costs and finally told her I'm not happy about the taxes this year and not happy in the marriage anymore. I moved out a little over a month later. Good for him. I'm going to kind of skip through because they're getting kind of long. Okay, number 12, always putting her family first. That's pretty self-explanatory. Alcohol abuse. That's pretty explanatory. 2, controlling. Control, control, control. People have a real issue with not minding their business and trying to force somebody, their partner, their spouse, to obey me. Do what I tell you to do because I have 1,000,000,000 reasons, 100,000 reasons why doing it my way is the best idea. When in reality, they could be a narc or a very toxic, controlling, demanding person, insecure. Oh my God. I would take some meds so I could sleep tonight. I have a chronic insomnia issue, and people with chronic illness have insomnia issues. So, yay, it's just so much fun. Okay, number 14, too controlling. Controlling, no communication, never cooperated with me or listened to me. Emotional abuse anytime. Emotional abuse anytime I made a small mistake. Nothing I did was appreciated, and I could never do enough. She gave me an ultimatum. An ultimatum. She made me think about why I was there with her. I don't remember what the ultimatum was now, but the answer was to get away from her. I chose me. She wanted an open relationship. When she decided she wanted to become polyamorous and open the relationship up as a cover-up to sleep with her work employees, she wanted to sleep with her work employees. And that's that. So these are the reason why men got divorced. She said I could do better. Just one more time. She couldn't say good things about me. She yelled too much, not carrying her load. She said he couldn't provide. He cheated, lack of intimacy, abuse. I was better off without her. Therapy. When he talked about it in therapy, he realized that it was too toxic. He was just done. She's bad with finances, always putting the family first. She had a spoiled, entitled sister and the rest of her similarly minded family. She put her family ahead of her marriage, and they're dysfunctional as hell, and he got tired of it. Alcohol abuse, too controlling. She gave an ultimatum, and she wanted an open relationship. This is on MSN.com, and I put in men reveal the final straw that led to filing for divorce. Okay? So these women, one thing that these women are lucky about, until they got divorced, that is, they had men that cared. They had men that cared about the marriage and wanted to work it out, more so than the women did. When you're dealing with someone who's dead inside, like any type of toxic person, if there's problems in the marriage, they don't care. So you're unhappy. Whoop-dee-doo. Okay. These men wanted to save their marriage. They wanted to resolve the issues. They actually were emotionally invested. So I give them a lot of props for that. They're not dead. They don't seem to be narcissistic because they care. Narcs don't care. The only thing they care about is everything going my way? All right. These men sounded like they were emotionally invested, and I have to give them props for that because that's not a common thread, especially in today's world where, I'm invested in you until I find something better. Sometimes, a lot of times, relationships are treated like a loaf of bread, like they have an expiration date. I find that weird. Either you're committed or you're not. Either you can stay with this person forever or you can't, because that's a huge, tall order. If you know you can't be faithful, don't get married. Okay? You're a dog, male or female, it don't matter. You can't commit. Why are you getting married? You're going to be looking at this person's face until your last breath if you stay together, and hopefully you will, otherwise you wouldn't have made vows to each other. But it's a tall order, and if you can't fulfill it, don't do it. If you're not sure about your sexuality, why are you getting married? because society accepts your marriage to a man better than they would accept your marriage to a woman. You need to figure that out before you say I do to somebody. Seriously. You need to figure that out. And if you can't figure it out, you stay single until you can. It's just that simple. I understand you want to have the perfect image going on, but you don't use somebody for image. I'm going to marry you because it makes me look good. You don't do that. Toxic people do it all the time, but we're talking about normal people. You don't do that. You need to stay single until you figure it out. Experiment, fool around, whatever you got to do until you figure it out. People that I know that are lesbian or gay, they tried to kiss the opposite gender and there was nothing, like no sparks, nothing. And they kissed the same gender and they're like, oh my God. Whoa, that's what was missing. So it was like a switch went off. So until you figure it out, don't pull somebody into promises that you can't keep. And I hate to see, I saw a criminal documentary yesterday where the woman was extremely controlling to the point of physical violence. She threw a knife at him and he felt it whiz by his head. Made me really angry. He eventually divorced her and she hunted him and his girlfriend down and killed the girlfriend. She's a nurse, so she knows how to do it. She overdosed her on insulin and also injected her with crystal meth and killed her. Well, she wasn't dying fast enough. She wouldn't die fast enough, so she smothered her with a pillow to speed things along. She was extremely abusive, hateful, doesn't take no for an answer, and it made me mad because he's such a sweetheart. He is basically a beta male. He's going to do everything he can to make sure that we don't have war with each other. And she took advantage of that. She chose a guy who is not confrontational, who's not going to knock her on her behind when she raises her voice, because a guy who is abusive is not going to tolerate her. Okay? He'd backhand her in a heartbeat. But she chose a man who is soft-hearted and a beta male, more chill, not aggressive. It's just not his nature to be aggressive. Now you're going to push him to the point where he does become a lot more assertive. And I was proud that he did, but she pushed him so far that he finally said, we're not going to be together. And that's it. It's done. Period. And I was proud of him because that was the first time he ever put his foot down with her. He let her get away with way too much. And so when you give somebody, man or woman, that much power, they do feel like I am your ruler. I'm your boss. The sooner you go with my program, the better off we'll be. You know what I'm saying? So I hated to see that because he's a doll. He's a total doll. I'd love to meet a guy like him who's chill, laid back, not wants to fight, argue, cheat, steal, manipulate, lie. Someone who is, I'm a big teddy bear and I'm a sweetheart and that's just me. Yes, let's go on a date. You know what I'm saying? I'd love to meet someone who's kind, who has a huge heart like that. I just never met this person. I just never have. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But in the meantime, I'm enjoying my puppy dog because he's my man. He's the only one that has some sense. And sometimes he gets out of line and I straighten him out. But anyway, I hope you like that article. It's very interesting. Reasons why men got a divorce. They were up to here with it and they said, that's it, I'm done. So y'all take care, much love. And, I just shake my head, when I look at all the crap these women have done. First of all, let's go to the vacation page. I'm going to let y'all go. Let's go to the vacation page. You got oh my God. You got the audacity to get mad that you can't have a vacation when you already had an expensive vacation a few years prior. And you knew he was working full time in addition to simultaneously trying to get a business off the ground. And you think that you have the right to have another vacation? You better be glad you had the first one because bills come first. Not in her mind. I'm not worried about all that. I'll deplete every dime we got. I deserve it. wow, I just wish he had seen signs before he married her. Because she seems like the type, we're not going out for coffee on the first date. You either take me out for lobster and shrimp and Italian wine, or don't even waste my time. She seems like one of those. I don't blame them for getting a divorce. They all have legitimate reasons. I just don't know where people get off at. People are lucky to get one vacation in a lifetime, and you had one a couple years prior, and you think you're entitled to another one. So she was obviously, in my mind, she was out there flirting and doing her thing with other men, and she really got a kick out of it. And so why not keep doing it? So romantic at these pristine beaches, and I could make love to a guy on the beach. It was not my husband, and so sexy. And it's like, wow, really? Really? People are something else. That's all I can say about that. Anyway, you guys take care. Much love, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.